Hey guys, I recently made a full guide video on how to emulate PS1 games on Steam Deck, and of course I tested several games from 19th. And today I like to talk about why Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is, in my opinion, one of the best PlayStation 1 games you can play. It's absolutely my favorite, and I would like to talk about why it can still be fun even today. Back in the day, all games were much harder than today. They often didn't forgive mistakes. There weren't many checkpoints, and you had to go up how many areas again and again. Some games even had codes you had to write down to save your progress, and most of people back then didn't even have money for PS1 memory card. For example, I remember when I was a kid playing the first Spider-Man game. I played it every day from the beginning until after several tries I finally finished it all at once. It was okay, maybe because the total playtime of the first Spider-Man was around 3.5 hours. After years, when I tried to emulate PS1 games, which do you think I tried first? Something friendly like Harry Potter or Peter Pan? Nope. I chose Silent Hill and Nightmare Creatures, one of the hardest PS1 games. Don't get me wrong, Silent Hill 1 is, my opinion, a masterpiece. One of the strongest psychological horror ever, which I almost finished on my PSP. But now, for today's player, that game is really hard. Just the beginning, where you have to find 3 keys around the town. I already needed a guide. I wouldn't have to find them on my own. And that's not even talking about the terrible controls. In Nightmare Creatures, this game is called the Dark Souls of 90s, and for good reason. And after these 2 games, Resident Evil 3 felt like gold from the sky. I originally tested it for an emulation video, but while playing, the game really got me hooked and I having so much fun. When I chose the easy difficulty at the start, I was surprised by how much ammo and how many weapons you get in the box at the beginning, which I think is nice for people who aren't very experienced with survival horror, so they can still enjoy a Resident Evil game. What grabbed me about the game right away is the great level design. Even though you move through different locations, they aren't too huge. You go through a few streets and interiors, and I never got stuck for too long. Even though I got stuck for a moment in one part, I think I can handle it and don't need a guide yet. I really love the design of the locations. It reminds me of that neon design from the old Blade Runner game, if you ever played it. From an artistic point of view, the visuals are very beautiful and many things didn't make into the remake, which is a big shame. These amazing locations are complemented with truly great music. Check out some of the soundtracks. It's really beautiful. I haven't heard such lovely background music in a long time. The controls, which are usually the biggest problem in PS1 games, aren't that bad here. The game feels much smoother to play than, for example, Silent Hill. You mostly fight slower zombies, which are very well done, and I can say that 90s zombies have their own unique charm. I don't know how to describe the feelings, but the zombies are really well placed in the locations, and taking them down is really fun. Even if you watch the game on the video, it might not seem fun, but trust me, playing it gives completely different feelings. Before, when I knew this game only from videos, it didn't seem interesting enough to play. But I can tell you, the game really has a lot to offer, and if you try it, you might be pleasantly surprised. Good thing is, you can emulate the game on different devices, like on PSP or your phone. But I think on the Steam Deck it's much more enjoyable because the screen size makes a big difference. For a more interesting experience, I add CRT shader called New Pixie through the emulator, which gives you visual effect like old TVs in the 90s, and I really like it. Write in the comments if you played any of old Resident Evil games or similar games to Resident Evil. For example, there was that PS1 dinosaur game that looked interesting. I'd love to hear your opinion and click subscribe so you don't miss my next videos, because here I cover very unique gaming topics.